Friends, we are live. Great to see you. Rusty here. Central Florida Weather Live, the show on this Monday, February the 17th. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We've got a lot to talk about in this live stream here. We've got some impactful weather coming our way again. Some big changes to both the temperature and the rainfall forecast as well. You saw the poll question that I put up. Did you get some rain yesterday? We did at the house. I'm sure a lot of you did. That was a decent front that came through yesterday. Obviously, kind of some ominous clouds, but you know, it cooperated. We had some really gusty winds. We talked about that in Friday's show, and hopefully you got some rain because, again, this time of the year, that's how we get the showers in Central Florida, to get these cold fronts to work their way through and get a little bit of water on the lawns and on the plants and all of that. So again, welcome to Central Florida Weather Live, the show sponsored by the Lean Law Firm of Central Florida, your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. Anything that could impact you or your property. We're talking about hail, hurricanes, wind damage, bust pipes, car accidents. They're going to walk you through every step of the insurance claim process. They do offer free consultation and policy reviews. You see their logo and their website on the bottom of your screen. You need more information, go to leanonmelaw.com. And we welcome Bobby Lee into the team for being sponsors here of CFLW. Okay, let's get into it. As I hit that button, the temperatures decided they wanted to flip out for a second, so I'll bring those back on. By the way, again, you have some specific questions in the forecast, drop it in the comments section below. Love to hear from you guys. Again, this is why I do this live show, so we can interact, we can chat. If you're watching the recorded version of this, you can certainly still ask a question. I go back through, answer any of those as well. Blue Goose is in the house saying, good afternoon from a chilly and sunny St. Augustine. Absolutely. Look up there. They are just climbing out of the upper 40s, back to just 52 degrees in St. Augustine. Skies have cleared. This is going to be your visible satellite loop over the last 3 hours. And as high pressure has come back in out of our front that came through yesterday, which, by the way, is stalled out in the southern portions of the state. Notice Miami is still at 81 degrees. They will have the opportunity for some rain in far southeast Florida and portions of the northern Bahamas today. We are high and dry. Look, we're in store for some absolutely beautiful weather, but like St. Augustine, most areas today are going to have a bit of a breezy north wind, and it will continue to usher in some cooler temperatures here. Temperatures today should actually stay below normal, but it is area dependent, meaning that our northern zones are going to be the ones that actually struggle to get out of the 50s for today. I would expect most areas, you know, even into St. Augustine and Gainesville, Cross City, Chiefland, and Ocala to be able to get into the 60s. Ocala has already gotten up to 61. And then the farther south that you go, you're just going to have the better opportunity to see temperatures warm up a bit. Tampa is already in at 70. But again, Tampa's winds are still going to be, if anything, a little bit out of the north, right? All of us are going to have a north wind, but look at that dew point. That dew point sits in the 40s. The air is really drying out. You know, we're in store for some nice weather behind this as well. Blue Goose has 51 degrees, so there you go. 61 right now in Spring Hill. Our friends in Palm Bay enjoying a warmer afternoon. They're in at 68 in the Palm Bay, Melbourne area. But again, it's all the fresh north wind. Titusville coming in at 63. Again, a north wind at around 15, but they've had some higher gusts from time to time as well. MCO again in the upper 60s. Our friends in the Leesburg area coming in, again, back up to 64 right now, but that dew point is low in the 40s. Speaking of the dew points, this is what those look like. And again, it's a little bit harder to see on this map here, but you can see that these dew points are in the 30s and 40s in most areas. That is the indication of the drier air coming in behind our front. And with clear skies tonight, it is going to be a chillier start to our Tuesday morning. Winds right now, again, are out of the north. These are where we have some gusts. So Daytona Beach has had a 24-mile-an-hour wind gust at the last hour. Same thing for the Cape. The Villages, Leesburg area around a 20-mile-an-hour wind. If you notice that the winds are a little bit fresher along the East Coast for today, and that is going to continue to elevate sea conditions both near shore and offshore. So boaters, beware of that. When we take a look at the advisories that are in play right now, you're going to see those pop on. Now, the advisories for small craft are only offshore. They go from the 20 to 60 nautical mile range, so we're a little bit better near shore, but it's still going to be a bumpy ride for our small craft on this President's Day. By the way, happy President's Day, everyone, as well. Hope you guys are doing well. Kids are off today. I know that. My kids are home. They are being extremely kind to me right now and hopefully not making a lot of noise during this live stream. But obviously a lot of folks out and about for today, and the weather is absolutely cooperating. But if you are a boater or you know someone who is, here's the small craft advisories that go up and down our entire East Coast for today. So I'm going to pull those up for you right now and we'll look at that together. So again, north winds 15 to 20, seas 5 to 7 feet. As I've mentioned, it's going to be for your offshore waters, and the Weather Service breaks these down into two different zones. Your nearshore waters are the 0 to 20 nautical miles offshore. The offshore waters are the 20 to 60 nautical miles, which do include portions of the Gulf Stream. So we're out there a ways, right? So from the Flagler Beach to Volusia Beach County line, 20 to 60 nautical miles out, and then from the Volusia Brevard County line all the way to Sebastian Inlet, again, you have a small craft advisor for seas of around 5 to 7 feet and some north winds of 15 to 20 knots. But I promise you from time to time, it will be even stronger than that. And those do go all the way, coastal St. Augustine, Jacksonville, into even the southeast sides of Georgia. So looking at theirs from the National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, again, you go farther north, it's the NWS Jacksonville. You go farther south along the coast, it's NWS out of Melbourne. So they're looking at 20 to 30 knots, and again, still 20 to 60 nautical miles. Let's see if they have a actual, looks like they're not putting any seas on this, but I mean, I would have to assume you're looking at least 5 to 7 foot seas or even higher than that as well. The bottom line is small craft should be exercising caution. Now, in our far northern areas, kind of even outside of where we forecast for, there is a frost advisory for tonight. All right, we're going to get some temperatures in the low to mid 30s when you get to the I-10 corridor, western sides of Jacksonville towards Lake City and Live Oak, and just northwest of Gainesville and Alachua County in general. Some of these areas could slip into that 32 to 36 degree range. We are not going to have a freeze here. We could get a little bit of frost on elevated surfaces, but generally speaking, temperatures for the overnight hours are going to cooperate, and I'm not really expecting us to have any way of actual frost developing for tomorrow morning. But we've got some big changes coming away again here, guys. Again, we had this very quiet period right at the end of January into most of February where we didn't have any cold fronts coming in. And when we have that scenario, you start to get those temperatures that were pushing record highs, mid upper 80s, even close to 90 degrees. So getting this front that we had yesterday is absolutely what we should be seeing this time of the year. That's how we get the rain. Typically speaking in Central Florida, you get a cold front coming in, you get showers, you get a few storms, you get windy conditions, it gets colder behind it for 1, maybe 2 days, and then temperatures moderate. And then 3, 4, 5 days later, here comes the next cold front. Now we're getting into more of that, what I call progressive pattern, where we are going to start to see more cold fronts working their way into the area with much more changeable weather, right? Gustier winds, showers and storms in a few locations, and then some cooler weather coming in behind that. So the next opportunity to get that is actually going to be on Wednesday, right? It's not going to be long in the forecast that we're going to see another good chance for showers and storms as an area of low pressure develops in the northwest side of the Gulf of Mexico. And then behind that, the next opportunity will come for the weekend. So this is a relatively active pattern, and that means temperatures are going to be going up and down almost each and every day. So I do have some of those 3-day forecasts we'll look at here. Obviously, this show kind of covers the week, and then the Friday show covers Friday of the weekend. We'll talk a little bit about the weekend as well, but more of a preview than anything. Temperatures right now are in the 30s and 40s across most of the southeast. It has been bitterly cold, and I mean dangerously cold in the plains. When I look at and show you guys the advisories here, do you see all of this blue? You have an extreme cold watch that actually bottoms out all the way down into central sides of Texas. If you know anyone who lives in these areas, it's going to be a massive storm, and then there's going to be some snow for portions of the Midwest as well. I mean, obviously, there's a little bit outside of the reach of the CFLW show, but just to give you an idea, right? Dallas has an extreme cold watch because they could have wind chill values around 10 degrees below zero. And yes, the next cold front is going to be able to push some of that colder air into the southeast. Now, we're going to get more of a brush than anything else, but it's just amazing to see how many counties across the United States are under some kind of watch, warning, advisory, flood watch. If you guys are subscribers to my Weather Express channel, we talked about the severe weather that went through the Tennessee Valley with the tornado potential that came through Friday, Saturday, and then the extreme flooding that occurred through portions of Tennessee and Kentucky and the western sides of Virginia. Those are all flood watches and warnings that are still in effect there as well. But we'll get into the forecast here for Central Florida. So in the coming days, we're going to be okay, right? This is a look at the Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. And you notice that there's no areas of thunderstorms. This is the outlook for tomorrow. So let me get this timeline off of here so you guys aren't confused. So this is the day 2 Storm Prediction Center outlook. Now you clearly see that we have a darker green here from the Houston area to coastal sides of Louisiana, including Lake Charles and New Orleans. This is the beginning of the development of that area of low pressure in the northwest Gulf of Mexico. There is a what's called marginal risk of severe storms there. That's the 1 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. So they're not expecting widespread severe storms, nothing extreme end, high end, right? No extremely high end tornadoes, high end wind or hail threat. And then general thunderstorms extend all the way to Little Rock, Arkansas, and back into the western sides of our panhandle. Then as we get into our Wednesday, right? You can see that the general thunderstorm outlook includes all of our area. So here we go. There is going to be a moderate chance for some storms. Now, I'll show you, and we can do this as well. I look at a lot of different things behind the scenes, right? I'm kind of giving you guys the synthesis of what I've been looked at, but the instability in the atmosphere for Wednesday is relatively low. It's very marginal. I would expect there to be a few storms that move across this line as it comes through, but I'm not expecting there to be any severe weather. We could push some special weather statements, which would probably be for winds of 40 miles an hour. More than likely. Again, rain and lightning are not criteria. It's all about the hail size and the winds. You got to have 60-mile-an-hour winds and at least inch-size hail for a severe thunderstorm warning. The special weather statements are lower criteria than that. Sometimes the Weather Service will issue those for winds of 40 miles an hour and even some half-inch size hail. But this is the general thunderstorm outlook. This is not even in the risk 1 to 5 scale from the Storm Prediction Center. Now, could they throw in a little marginal, especially in our northern areas for Wednesday? It's possible, right? But again, for Wednesday more than anything, it's going to be a wet day. We're going to have another front coming in. Now, ahead of it, we are going to get some strong winds to push our temperatures up again for tomorrow. And then behind that front, temperatures will bottom out again on Wednesday and Thursday. Appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're here, thank you for liking this live stream. Thank you for subscribing to Central Florida Weather Live if you've not done that as well, just like Blue Goose has done. I love to hear from you guys. Again, this is part of the interaction that I'm asking from you guys. Just drop it in the comments section below where you're viewing from. You have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop that in the comments section below as well, and I'm happy to answer those as we move along. So the first thing I want to show you guys here is we're going to get into the models now. I'm going to show you the winds, and then we're going to get into the HRRR and the GFS models for the actual forecast. So let me bring on the model timeline so you guys can see that. And then I'm going to loop this up. Now, this is the HRRR model, so it's only going to go out 48 hours. Again, this is what we call the high resolution rapid refresh model. In the short term, this is probably the best model that's out there, right? You have the global models like the GFS and the European model, the ECMWF, and then you have some other models like the NAM, the North American. And, again, I look at all of this, and why did the rain start to come back on? Let me get this. Let me get that. I don't want to do that yet. I want to show you the winds. But you can clearly see here, let me loop this back up now, that we're going to have a change in our winds. Now, the rest of today, it's all going to be out of the north, right? So this is cooler, drier air, enough of a breeze where, again, I'm not worried about there being any frost of any kind whatsoever. But down the road, and by down the road, I mean starting tomorrow, we're going to start to see those winds coming back out of the east. Right? And eventually they're going to start to try and turn out of the south as well. You can clearly see the area of low pressure beginning to develop as we get into tomorrow and early on Wednesday here in the far northwest side of the Gulf of Mexico. And there is going to be some strong wind associated with that. on this arrow scale that you see, when you get to the yellow, or excuse me, the white arrows, you're going to start to see some winds there that would be over 30 miles an hour sustained. So we have the HRRR model developing this area of low pressure, basically right over New Orleans as we get into early Wednesday morning. And this is going to race across the far northern Gulf of Mexico. Now, ahead of it, we are going to mainly have an east to a southeast wind here in central Florida. It's certainly going to moderate temperatures, and Wednesday is actually going to be relatively mild before the rain moves in, but it's going to be a widespread chance for rain here. We're going to have a good chance for showers and an isolated storm and then some cooler weather. So again, the rest of today, the winds are going to be out of the north. We'll start to sneak winds kind of more out of the east, but they'll be a little bit lighter for tomorrow in general. I think winds will be in that 5 to 10 mile an hour range for your Tuesday, and then the winds will freshen up again out ahead of this next cold front coming in on Wednesday. But again, it's mainly a south to southeast wind. Now, it's going to be area dependent as far as the timing of the rain, and so we're going to get into that right now. So let me throw back on the rain and then loop this back up. And again, the HRRR model is only going to take us to Wednesday morning. So we will pick this up from there with the GFS. But I just wanted to kind of clearly show you guys what this high resolution model is beginning to develop. Now, again, on the back end of this, you have really bitterly cold air coming in. You have that developing low. So on the north side of this, you're going to get that snow beginning to fly. But this is a relatively aggressive system, right? And there's going to be a lot of moisture that comes along with this because this low is developing over the Gulf and it's tapping into the moisture from the northern Gulf of Mexico. You know, some of these cold fronts that come through this time of the year, they're moisture starved. They don't have a lot of rain associated with it. That is not going to be the case with this one. We could get some decent rainfall totals out of this. I do expect the best chance for the higher totals to be in the Panhandle and kind of the Panhandle in general in the northeast side of the state and into portions of Alabama and Georgia. But that doesn't mean our area won't have the opportunity here for a little bit in the way of some healthier rain. So here is 7 a.m. on Wednesday morning, and you can clearly see the showers and storms lining up. It's interesting because, again, the low being here means that we're actually going to have north winds in the Panhandle and actually be a bit of a cool rain than anything else. And that's one reason why the instability is not going to be fantastic in those areas. So we're not looking at, you know, a lot of lift and instability in the atmosphere here. So the air is just a little bit calmer overall because there's just not as much heat energy derived from that with the north winds at the surface. But a good batch of rain, and there will be some embedded thunderstorm activity as well. So this is Wednesday morning, and the interesting thing is that there is the opportunity that the easterlies will try and pull in some moisture from the western Atlantic. So for our eastern coastline, and I'm talking about Indian River County, Brevard, portions of Volusia into Flagler up to St. Augustine and to Duval counties, there could actually be a little bit of rain preceding the actual front with a couple of coastal showers here, kind of that marine layer trying to develop as well, and just pulling in a little bit of light rain and some spotty showers. But that's obviously not going to be the main show. How you doing, Fiona? 66 degrees in North Orlando. It is a huge temperature gradient. Yeah, we looked at that earlier where you've got St. Augustine and Cross City just getting out of the 40s, and down in Tampa, it's 71 degrees right now. I'll bring those back up as well, but it's a valid point. There's a huge temperature gradient from north to south for today. Okay, let's get into the GFS model. So now I'm going to pull up the GFS. Going to make my changes here, and I'm going to take this out to Thursday morning and then loop this up. And I am going to get rid of the arrows because we've kind of already talked about this. Obviously, as the front is coming in, we're going to see the winds turn out of the south, and then ultimately they will turn back out of the north here as we get into Thursday. But here comes the front itself. And again, good chance for rain. I have a very high rain chance in Central Florida for our Wednesday afternoon. Let's break it down for you guys. If you have plans Wednesday, anything after the lunchtime hour, you should be prepared to have some rain moving in with an isolated thunderstorm as well. Yeah, we can make that happen, Fiona. We can make Blue Goose a moderator, absolutely. I can dive into that after the show. Or, I don't know if you, Fiona, I don't know if you can make him a moderator or not. I mean, if you can, I certainly trust you enough to pull the trigger on that. And Blue Goose is definitely a big friend of the channel. Okay, so right around lunchtime and beyond, here comes the next chance for rain, right? Showers, an isolated thunderstorm, but I think pretty much everyone gets some rain. It is going to be a little bit more concentrated in our far northern areas. You can see that on the GFS. Again, just kind of working into Levy and Alachua and Marion County, including Ocala, Northern Lake into Flagler County and Palm Coast and the St. Augustine area, and then dropping off towards the south. It does break apart a little bit as it gets into Central Florida, but the overall chance for rain is going to be there. And then here is the GFS just kind of weakening it a bit across I-4 and south as we get into Wednesday night. There could actually be a little bit of lingering leftover rain that kind of just sits here late Wednesday and into early on Thursday. So there it is again. Watch it kind of come in. And, you know, look, here's 6 o'clock, right? That's still some healthy rain right across the I-4 corridor. This could be a little bit of an issue trying to get home for places like Sanford and Orlando and Kissimmee, St. Cloud, back towards Lakeland and even Tampa. I-4 could be unpleasant at that point in time. But the model really does kind of just break up the rain a little bit more here as you get into the 7 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock hour. If there's a lower chance for showers, it's going to be Southern Brevard, Indian River County. But I still expect my friends in Mico, Barefoot Bay, Palm Bay, Melbourne areas to get a few showers out of this. But again, decent rainfall here. Now, if there's going to be thunderstorms, if we're going to have the chance for a little bit more instability, I expect it to be along the immediate west coast. All right, just a little bit more energy there coming out of the Gulf. So from Cedar Key to Crystal River and Homosassa and Spring Hill and Silver Springs, Bayonet Point, Newport Richey, Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor, Clearwater, St. Pete, Tampa Bay areas in general, Largo, Bradenton, Sarasota. Those are the areas that I expect there to be a potential rumble of thunder. That's about it. Again, severe weather not expected to occur out of this, but generalized thunderstorms are a possibility. So that's kind of the timeline. And then behind that, we just start to see north winds coming back in as well. So when I put back on the winds here, you're going to see obviously that by the end of the time frame, our winds will be turning back out of the north. And guess what that means, friends? We're going to have more cooler weather coming back in. So get prepared for an active Wednesday, right? And then get prepared for some colder weather coming in on Thursday. And by colder, I mean temperatures compared to Wednesday afternoon's highs will probably drop by around 20 degrees. It's not going to be as cold as what we had earlier in January, where we were stuck in the 40s for highs, but it is going to be appreciably colder than what we've had. And again, this is exactly what we would expect to see this time of the year, have those fronts coming in. So let's get into the forecasts. I'm going to bring those up for you guys. Wrong button. Correct button. One other thing I want to do here as well is, and I mentioned this to you guys as well, is we continue to add cameras, and we'll do that. But what do you say we take a look at some of the cameras that we have for you guys right now? Again, this is going to be from the Walt Disney World area. This camera is just 1 mile from Magic Kingdom and actually pointed towards the Magic Kingdom and Disney property in general, and nothing but blue sky out there right now. Skies have really, really cleared. It's gorgeous. You can see at the bottom of your screen, your current conditions across a lot of Central Florida cities are updating live for you guys there. And so you can kind of get an idea. There's the difference. 56 in Daytona Beach, 69 in Tampa. So again, there is a huge temperature gradient, and it's a gorgeous shot from Lake Conway here and the near downtown Orlando area across Lake Conway. Beautiful clear skies for those folks as well. Okay, let's get into the forecast. This is what it looks like for Orlando. Again, beautiful day tomorrow. Chilly start with the clear skies, the light north winds. We're down to 52. It's not bad. It's certainly light jacket weather for most folks, I would say. Then it's a gorgeous afternoon. We're up to 75 for the daytime high for tomorrow. Big change in the forecast again by Wednesday afternoon. Rain and an isolated thunderstorm. It's a 70% chance, but notice the daytime high with the south wind, most of the day goes all the way up to 80 degrees. So it'll be a very mild through early mid-afternoon across our area before the rain sets in, and then much cooler behind that. We're back to the lower 50s in Orlando on Thursday and a daytime high of just 64 degrees. Skies should clear relatively quickly. By the end of Thursday, we'll actually probably end up with mostly sunny skies again. But again, a huge swing in our temperatures here the next several days. 70s tomorrow, around 80 on Wednesday, and then back to the lower 60s on our Thursday. For Tampa, Mostly sunny skies for tomorrow, 77 the daytime high, 60% chance for showers, and even again, a few rumbles of thunder there. Not expecting strong storms, but the opportunity to produce some winds, maybe up to 40 miles an hour, is certainly plausible. They will also hit 80 degrees as well for Wednesday, and then behind that, some sun, a little bit, clearing skies just kind of through the day. We'll probably start off Thursday morning relatively cloudy in the day, partly to mostly sunny. But again, 15-degree temperature drop there from 80 on Wednesday to 65 degrees as we get into our Thursday. Blue Goose says active Wednesday in sight, likely an active spring ahead. We'll see how it plays out, my friend. I mean, look, everyone is always different, but these storms, these cold fronts, as we get into spring, right, as we get into March and April, if they can still move through our area, there's going to be more juice with them, right? The spring storm season starts in the plains for a reason as you get into March, because there's just a lot more energy and a lot more heat being developed here off of this, the differences between obviously the colder, wetter air coming off of the Intermountain West and that warmer, drier air coming out of Mexico, and where you get the clash of the Titans there, and we kind of get some of the periphery impacts as well. We do have a secondary severe season that does crop up because of that. To Lakeland we go. Mostly sunny skies for tomorrow. Beautiful day, 77 the daytime high. Again, showers likely in Polk County tomorrow. They're up to 82 degrees on Wednesday. 82 degrees on Wednesday, and then that 15-degree temperature drop on Thursday as skies clear. 67 will be the daytime high there after a morning low of 55. I'm going to try a button. I hope it works. Okay, it does. Excellent. To Bradenton we go. Beautiful day for my friends there in the Bradenton, Sarasota area for tomorrow. They're going to be approaching 80 degrees tomorrow after a morning low of 55. Mostly sunny and dry. They'll get showers. Again, can't rule out a rumble of thunder, but it's mainly rain, but a high chance at 60%, 80 the high on Wednesday. And then skies will clear throughout the day there in both Manatee and Sarasota counties. As skies clear, temperatures will stay on the cooler side, 69 the daytime high there. And let's see. I still need to switch that. My apologies. I knew I had one more. Deltona. It's a chilly start to tomorrow morning. Look, again, northern areas, do not be surprised that you start off in the upper 40s for tomorrow morning. Again, I'm not expecting really any frost. Maybe you get into Gainesville area and there's a little bit in the elevated surfaces, but we're warm enough where we're not going to see that. But it is jacket weather tomorrow morning for sure in our northern zones, including Deltona. 73 the daytime high, so beautiful afternoon. I mean, I'm talking about a 5-star day tomorrow afternoon with the gentle winds and the clear skies and the low humidity. Great day to be outdoors. Enjoy it, because obviously things change for Wednesday. Showers are likely a 70% chance there, 78 the daytime high. Then they'll start off in the upper 40s to the lower 50s again on Thursday morning, clearing skies and much cooler. The high there in Deltona coming in at just 63 degrees. One quick thing before we get into the rainfall forecast. Again, if you guys don't know, I am doing a new YouTube channel. It's called Weather Express. It is the United States forecast. A lot of you have asked me, Rusty, are you going to do anything for the U.S. outside of Central Florida? The answer is yes. I do 5-minute daily forecasts across the United States. We get a lot in that 5 minutes. You will find a link to that new YouTube channel in the video description below. You just see the YouTube play icon. You see Weather Express. You click that. It's me. I do it every day. And again, thank you for going to that channel and subscribing as well. Would love to get the viewership up in Central Florida Weather Live and on Weather Express as well. Both channels. We'd really appreciate the support. Okay, let's get back over to the rainfall forecast here, and then we'll take a little bit of a sneak peek into our weekend. So let me do this. I think the easiest way is just to pull this wide like this, and then we'll look at the rainfall forecast here. And for some reason, the winds decided they wanted to stick on, so let me drop those. So this is a GFS model over the next several days. You can see it goes out to the 22nd, so over the next 5 days. Now, again, as I've mentioned, certainly the best chance for higher rainfall totals are going to be nearer where that area of low pressure is. So you get off of the New Orleans coastline there towards Grand Isle, a few inches of rain possible. Same thing from Pensacola to Tallahassee and I-10 towards Jacksonville, right? As I've mentioned, we could have a little bit heavier rain and a few storms right along our immediate west coast. So these are the areas, coastal Citrus, coastal Hernando, coastal Pasco, Pinellas counties, that could get around an inch of rain. And look, For a cold front coming in February, those are pretty solid numbers. Even inland sides of Pasco and Hernando counties and Tampa could be along that. But you notice I mentioned everyone for the most part, and I said southeast Brevard and Indian River counties might be the only ones that don't get it. Everyone gets something out of this front, right? Edgewater gets 4/10 of an inch, Daytona 5. Obviously, this is just a model, but we can average this out. Solid rainfall totals for this time of the year here. Groveland, the Villages, Denellen, Ocala. You see that the gradient is kind of farther north and west, right? But we all get something out of this next front coming in on Wednesday. Pearson there on the northern sides of Volusia County, St. Augustine, 6/10 of an inch, Palatka, 1/2 inch, Gainesville 6. So pretty uniform numbers overall, right? Favoring a little bit of that energy coming out of the Gulf of Mexico for slightly higher rainfall totals in our coastal western areas. Are we out of frost season? I would say no, not yet, Fiona. I wouldn't say yet. I mean, we can still get some plunges of colder Arctic air in March. Absolutely. So certainly not willing to write off frost season yet. Now, most areas in our northern areas have had the first significant freeze. So hopefully there's no more issues to tender vegetation, you know, as far as agricultural goes. But, you know, are we done with any light frost or freeze in the area? I would say that that is not a guarantee for sure. And again, up towards Jacksonville, we end up getting more than 1.5 inches of rain. So there you go. Those are the rainfall totals in general that I expect out of our front on our Wednesday. So back over to the GFS here, clear this out, and let's go back over to the rain. That is correct. And I'm just going to extend this out to Sunday. And again, let me dump these arrows off because I promise you it will go a lot quicker if I do. Okay. So, front number 1 comes our way on Wednesday. We've talked about the showers and storms. Again, area of low pressure developing in the northwest side of the Gulf of Mexico. This will take a second to fully load up, but here comes potentially impactful weather number 2. Guess what it's going to be? Another area of low pressure trying to develop in a very broad fashion in the Gulf of Mexico. So there's the first one. Notice the moisture kind of sticks around the western Gulf of Mexico, and here comes the second one as well. And just like the first one, right, relatively moisture-laden air. If we get these areas of low pressure to develop over the Gulf of Mexico, they are not moisture-starved. They will have a relatively high, what we call QPF, or precipitable water, associated with them. So even though they're fast-moving systems this time of the year, and that storm on Wednesday is going to be racing by, same thing with the one that could be coming either Saturday or Sunday, they could still throw, again, 1 inch, 1.5 inches of rain in some spots because there's moisture-laden air coming along with it. And even though they're fast movers, they'll have that opportunity. But this is the pattern that we would typically see here for mid to late February, where we get 1 or 2 cold fronts a week. We get beautiful weather in between. You get the cooler dipping temperatures right behind the front. You get the moderating temperatures, you know, the next day or 2 after that with the south winds. But, you know, in a blink of an eye, here comes the next one. And that's exactly what I expect over the next 7 days. So when I see you guys on Friday, we'll be talking about this storm for Saturday and Sunday. And I obviously have a lot more clarity and details on that for you guys, but just kind of a preview. Do expect there to be a good chance for some showers and storms in our area for the weekend ahead. Fiona was mentioning the temperatures here. So again, real quick look at your actual temperatures as we speak. So let me throw those on here and make sure that we are actually correct in the timeline. Bring our timeline model back up. And again, you can always see what's going on live at the bottom of your screen as well. But just to kind of give you guys an idea, as Fiona mentioned here at 1:35, St. Augustine's last report was 52. Blue Goose is there. He can let us know. Gainesville 59, Ocala 61, 64 in the Sanford area towards Lake Mary here for our friends up in Seminole County, 63 in Titusville, Port St. John 68. Same thing for MCO. And then you get into portions of Polk and Hillsborough and Pinellas counties, and we're already into the lower 70s in a couple of spots, right? Tampa right around 70 degrees. So there is a huge temperature gradient here from north to south for today, and it's going to stay that way. Southern areas will get into the 70s today. Northern areas in a couple of spots could actually stay in the upper 50s. Most areas, though, will be getting into the 60s as we go through the remainder of the afternoon hours. And again, skies have cleared extremely beautifully for today. You expect full sunshine the remainder of this Monday. There is a front, the front that came through our area is off to our south. And just to kind of give you guys an idea here, if I put on the radar, there will be a couple of showers that will actually be trying to drift across places like West Palm Beach towards Miami and the northwest side of the Bahamas. And, eventually, again, the winds will turn back out of the east and southeast, and it will be warming back up. Does anyone have any other questions? I think we covered a lot of things for today, and I appreciate the support. Again, while you guys are here, thank you so much for liking this live stream. Thank you for subscribing to CFLW if you have not. Again, if you're new to the channel, I do these live shows on Monday and Friday afternoons. These are mainly preview shows. The biggest reason why I do this is so that we can interact, right? And so please drop in the comments section below what's going on with you. If you have a specific question, feel free to drop that as well. I'm happy to answer that. And then obviously, if there's any impactful weather in Central Florida, I come on live and we cover that live. This is a live only channel. So make sure you have those all notifications on, because when you get a notification from CFLW, you know it's an important event. I don't just come on for any reason whatsoever. Again, these shows are basically to keep constant contact with you guys and prepare you guys for what I'm expecting as we go over the next several days. Once again, I want to thank the sponsor of CFLW, that's the leading law firm of Central Florida. They are your hometown homeowners insurance attorneys. They cover homeowners, condo owners, and associations across the entire state. Doesn't matter where you are, if you're in Florida, they can offer assistance. They will cover anything that impacts you or your property. So car accidents, hail, hurricanes. We know what's coming, guys. Severe weather season is on the way. They offer free consultation and policy reviews. So please go to leanonmelaw.com if you would like more information. Again, we appreciate them being the exclusive sponsor of CFLW for the first half of 2025. Blue Goose, 51 degrees. I hear you, buddy. It is still chilly there in the San Sebastian River area. Whew. Yeah, that's 51, man. I mean, and we're sitting here in the upper 60s to right around 70. That's a big temperature gradient for today, but it's what happens. And again, expect some of that cooler weather to coming back in behind the next front. Friends, you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Get prepared for the rain on Wednesday. Again, I'm not expecting to be too rowdy, but if we get a few severe thunderstorm warnings, I'll be back on live. I'll be monitoring the situation. If not, I'll see you on Friday, where we are going to be talking a lot more about the impactful rain and storms coming in for either Saturday or Sunday. We'll get a little bit more clarity on that. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you guys back here on Friday. Take care. Hit the right button.